Martin Duffy, Scruffy Duffy, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Great to have you on.
Yeah, and thanks so much for having me. I'm absolutely delighted to be here.
What do people call you? Everyone calls you Scruffy now.
Listen, I'll tell you a funny story. Right, a couple of years ago, I'm at home and I get this text. Actually, sorry, I tell a lie. It's not a text, but it's a call. He says, Scruff, I'm actually in a quiz here in the Stables Bar. And one of the questions is, what's your name? I said, sure, you know me, I said. I do know you, but I don't know your name, he says. I says, my name is Martin Duffy. I said, brilliant, I think I'm after winning a bottle of whiskey. He says, happy days.
Yeah, so but listen, everyone knows you. Scruffy.
Everybody knows me as Scruffy Duffy, yeah.
But now on the wedding side, it's SD Entertainment.
So now it's Scruffy Duffy SD Entertainment, so it is. So I have branched out into many different packages, so I have.
Yeah. And then you're kind of based in Sligo, but you cover the country, don't you?
Yeah, listen, based in Sligo, but travel everywhere.
Mm-hmm. So what do you provide for wedding couples?
So I am in that wedding space of kind of alternative. So if you're looking for something different, I'm the guy that can provide that something different. So, for example, I'm a wedding celebrant. So I'm a qualified Marry Me Ireland Celebrant. I have an MC during the meal show, the Scruffy Duffy show, and then I can provide a full show after the MC during the show, as in, just a full disco show afterwards. Yeah. I can also provide the ceremony music for you, and I can provide reception music for you as well. So I'm in that wedding space. If you're looking for something different, you're looking to deal with one supplier, I'm that guy.
How long is it a year since you started the ceremonies? Or?
So the ceremonies, I'm now at them nearly 18 months, nearly 2 years.
Do you enjoy doing them now?
I do enjoy them because it's a completely it's a completely different kind of aspect of what I've been used to. So normally when I'm doing the Scruffy Duffy show, it's full on, it's interactive, it's high energy. But with the ceremony, obviously, I don't go under the name of Scruffy Duffy. I go under my name of Martin Anthony.
Okay.
And
so you have another Martin Anthony.
Martin Anthony Wedding Celebrant, yeah. Okay. And I go under that. It's a 25 to 30 minute ceremony. I provide the music for the ceremony, and it's a lovely, uplifting ceremony. I encourage the bride and groom to to pick uplifting songs. It's a beautiful ceremony. It's done. It's done with spiritually. We do a wine box ceremony. I do a sandbox. We do a sand ceremony. Yeah, and also.
Do you do the rope thing then?
No. I don't do the rope one at all. I do the wine box ceremony. And
what's the wine box ceremony?
So basically, the bride and groom would write their feelings and thoughts leading up to the wedding, and. Leading up to the wedding, and then they seal these letters. Both of them don't know what they've written, and in the ceremony, then I would do this lovely passage about the wine box and about a bottle of wine being vintage and over the years.
Do they have to be drinking the wine when they're writing down?
No. The wine. So then, what they do? They write the letters, they seal them, and then on the ceremony, then I do a lovely passage, and then the letters go into the wine box. It's sealed, and then on their first wedding anniversary, nice glass of wine. They open up the letters. And they've all seen what they've written on the lead up to their first anniversary. And then they write new letters and they continue that all over the years of their marriage.
Oh, yeah, that's nice. I actually never heard of that before. Yeah.
It's a lovely little touch. So
and then the meal show you do, that's a fairly new idea too, isn't it?
I'm the only entertainer in Ireland doing this particular type of show.
I was going to ask that. Have you seen, did you come up with this idea, do you think yourself, or even in other countries? Is there anyone else?
This show originated from my corporate shows many years ago. And at the time, I knew myself. I needed to come up with something else to be relevant within the wedding business.
Well, you have to keep changing.
You need to keep thinking. You need to keep coming up with new ideas. And I just needed to come up with something fresh and different. And this show ticks all those boxes. It's short bursts of high intense energy in between the courses of your meal. It doesn't affect the food or service because many years ago I used to be a chef by trade. So that's how I was able to write this show, that it's perfectly timed. That from the time you enter the room until the end of your meal, that room is absolutely rocking for you.
Yeah.
And through it, I do a bridal party intro, I do a sing-off, love quiz.
How do you do the MC for the whole thing? Yeah.
I do a fun fashion show and a lip-sync battle at the end. Best man's Freddie Mercury, chief bridesmaid Tina Turner. And then in between the games, I do these little mini pre-mix sets of music where we're all sing-along songs. So there's just waves.
So like background music during the meal as well.
So there's waves of positive energy and music all the way through the meal. And it's just electric. It's like the bride and groom sitting back at their top table nearly watching a concert. mini concert. It's just electric. So
now I've seen it once or twice because I've done a few videos, and the room is rocking. Like,
it's rocking. So it's and
it is that you have to see it, I think, to realise.
Yeah, really have to see it and experience it and be in the room till you go, whoa, I've never seen anything like this. And what it really gives, it takes, because it is that space during the meal, and.
Well, like, let's be honest, like, weddings can be a drawn out. I know it mightn't sound right, but a boring kind of a day for some people.
Well, during the meal, right, if
from the 3 o'clock point, when people get to the hotel,
day.
like the couple sometimes are off getting pictures, but for people, they arrive at the hotel, if there's no music at 3 o'clock in the bar either, that's a big gap until the band or DJ starts.
So if you can imagine, right, there's that lack of energy, you say, during the reception. Then it carries on into the meal. And then, of course, you have the hotel who's playing the same playlist probably for a couple of years. It hasn't been changed. Then the speeches as well. People are nervous with the speeches. It's not exactly, probably going to plan. And then there's this just lull of energy. But the problem with that lull of energy is that if it carries on to the rest of the wedding, sometimes that's where the wedding can struggle to get going, and that's where it creates gaps in the wedding, where there's this lack of energy in the room. And sometimes some weddings with that lack of energy don't kick off until about 11 or 11:15, but it means that you've wasted an awful lot of your wedding day, when really your wedding should be kicking right from the beginning you enter that room. And that's where the meal show is absolutely brilliant. It kicks it off at 6 o'clock, and it sets your wedding up for the rest of the day.
And it breaks the ice with people dancing and stuff like that for later on.
It breaks the ice with everybody. It sets people up. And people are coming out of me and going, oh my God, I've never seen anything like that. It's electric. The bride and groom are buzzing. And the lovely thing about the show is that anybody from Nanny, who's 90, down to the kids who are 6 or 7, it involves everybody.
Yeah.
And that's the great joy that I get out of this show. That everybody, like Nanny's doing her 90s and she's singing, the Wild Rover, and then of course we're doing something else for the kids at the end of it, and it just involves everybody.
And if a couple, I suppose, we're looking at getting that, does the crowd size matter? Does the crowd? Have you ever had a crowd that it didn't
listen,
really work
I've done it. I have done a wedding where I had 35 people. I did the Wedding Celebrant. I did the MC during the meal show for 35 people, and then we did the wee disco afterwards. The MC during the show until about maybe 11:30, maybe 12 o'clock. That's the smallest wedding I've done.
Yeah, and it's still
up to weddings of 450 and 550. Yeah.
And it still works,
and it's just electric.
Yeah.
And this show, I've done it with all different age groups, all different parts of the country, all different nationalities. But the one thing that's common about it is energy and fun.
Yeah.
People love it.
Yeah.
People just love it. They love energy and fun. That's really what they're looking for. And people are looking for something different now.
Yeah.
They're looking for different.
Yeah, definitely.
And they're looking for that little bit of interaction and fun. I suppose the big difference in my show, especially with the MC Joe May show, is where some acts come in, which are fantastic acts, and they come in at the end of the meal and do a 45, 50-minute show around about the desserts, which is brilliant in fairness to these shows. But the big difference in my show, I come in right at the beginning and do the bridal party.
So you're set up before they even get into the room?
I'm set up, right. Yeah. And right from the start of the meal until the end of it, that room, as I said it, and it's so true, it's just rocking for you.
Yeah, no, I've seen it. And do you find with your show, does the speeches, do they work out better before the meal or after the meal?
The lovely thing about the show, it's designed, right, to set the room up for your speeches. So speeches are changing these days, right? So there's at least 4 different ways you can do your speeches. You can do your speeches now out in the foyer before you come into the room.
Yeah.
You can do, the latest trend is the video speeches, where people get their speeches videoed beforehand and get them played on the projector. You can do your speeches after the first course and then do your speeches. Or the classic way, you do your speeches after your main course. And the lovely thing about my little show, and what it does for you, is that it sets the room and the speeches up for you. So there's a game before the speeches, so they're up for it. There's energy.
Yeah. People aren't as nervous either.
You've got their attention. And it just takes that kind of, as I said, take that lack of energy and lullness out of the room, so it does. And
then moving on from the full meal show, SD Entertainment, you do the full DJ service as well.
I do the full wedding DJ as well, right? Where obviously there's no bands, right? So I do the full show. And you're smiling at me there and saying,
yeah.
So once again, it's an option. It's something different.
It's
something different. So it is.
I suppose. Well, on the disco side, then, just while you're here, do you like when a couple gives you a playlist? And that would include your full meal. Like, do you need to get a taste of what kind of music they're into
Well,
before?
I always like to meet the bridegroom beforehand. We go through everything. I'm to be honest, I'm a stickler now for detail. It looks off the cuff what I'm doing, but I'm a real stickler for detail.
Yeah.
And I think with all that detail and all that information, and you're giving yourself the best chance to give the bridegroom the best day ever.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So playlists, I would take suggestions from the bride and groom.
Yeah.
And I will take those suggestions and I'll play them in with these sets that are nearly future-proof. These sets have never let me down over the last 25 years. So,
well, you want the floor full.
You want the floor full.
I always say that if a couple are coming with ideas, like the band generally and the DJ want the floor full even more than you do.
Absolutely,
that's your job. That's how you get your next gig.
That's your job. Your job is to.
So we know the songs that work. There's a reason we do,
your job
500
is
miles.
your job is to fill that floor at all costs, no matter what it takes, no matter what music, no matter what you have to do, right? And you're in a short time frame, so you don't have time to experiment. You have to stick with the trusted songs that you know are going to give you that result. For example, Pack the Floor.
Yeah.
So if a bride and groom comes to me and asks, well, we would love this particular song, I would say, yeah, it's a fantastic song on the radio. It's a great song to go for a spin in a car with. But if you're looking to put guests on the floor with that particular song, in my opinion, of doing weddings for 25 years, that song's not going to work. But if you insist on playing it, I will play it. But I have told you beforehand, I don't think it's going to work.
Yeah. I know. I just think that the DJs you're hiring in know. Yeah. They know. They know what they're doing.
Well, listen, you're trusting your supplier. You've looked at the reviews, you've seen their show, and you listen. This guy knows exactly what they're doing. I'm going to trust this guy.
There's no harm give them a taste of what you like. You know, if you say, my family are big into their country or
absolutely,
jiving or, just to get
absolutely. You play go right across the board, your waltzes, your jives, your 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, indie rock. You play right across the board. I'd probably be known better in the business as a blender. I like to blend a bit of everything. Yeah. So you play right across the board.
Yeah. So if people want to book you for as a celebrant or the meal show or full DJ, how can they get in touch?
So they can get in touch through Facebook.
Yeah. What are you? Is it SD Entertainment?
Yeah. Scruffy Duffy, SD Entertainment, Weddings with a Difference.
Yeah.
And you'll get me on Facebook and you'll get me on email scruffy@scruffyentertainment.com, or you can ring me on 086 821 6484, and you'll get me on that phone 24/7. I'm never off it.
Are you on Instagram?
I'm on Instagram. I am in the process of trying to build my Instagram profile at the moment. I think everybody's at that. It seems to be the latest. It seems to be the next big thing for weddings. Instagram.
Well, I think I kind of hold Instagram and Facebook in a similar light.
Yeah.
Maybe lean more towards Instagram, but I like Instagram more. I think if I'm opening my phone in a queue, I'll generally open Instagram first.
And do you find you get a lot more from Instagram or Facebook at the moment?
Maybe 50-50. Yeah. But I just think it's nicer to use. I think there's less rubbish on it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I still find out, because I was watching Ronnie's video, I think Ronnie said the same, a lot of my work is still coming from Facebook.
Yeah. But you should be on everything, really.
You should be, really. You have to be on everything these days, right?
Yeah. So that's grand, Scruffy. Martin,
Scruffy Duffy.
Martin Duffy. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you very much for coming in. I really appreciate it.
Talk to you soon.
Thank you very much indeed.